Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome you to the city's 5th Council District. My name is Mark Kersey. I represent this area on the City Council. Hopefully we don't lose this down here. As we speak, brave firefighters are battling blazes up and down the state. The National Weather Service has issued a red flag alert for San Diego and a good chunk of Southern California as well. CAL FIRE has issued extreme fire danger warnings. Last I checked, there are about half a dozen fires burning around the state right now that are not 100% contained, and maybe another half dozen that are. Our thoughts are with the residents that are affected, as well as the crews who are fighting those fires. The two fires that are immediately coming to mind are the Springs Fire in Ventura County, that is now over 10,000 acres, as well as the Summit Fire in Riverside County, which is about 3,000 acres. And I believe we have a couple of San Diego firefighters who are headed up to help out in Riverside County. The Santa Ana conditions that we're experiencing now can quickly whip up small blazes into out-of-control wildfires. That's why it's critical that we do everything we can to protect our homes. There are some simple strategies which some of the speakers that I'm going to introduce in a minute will address and we're going to talk about. But very quickly, maintain 100 feet of defensible space around your house. Remove all dead plants, grass, and weeds within 30 feet of your house. Clean out your gutters and your roof from leaves, pine needles, and debris, and have an evacuation plan in case of a wildfire. We're grateful to our fire professionals for keeping the small blazes that we've seen this year from turning into major wildfires, but that hasn't always been the case. This year, of course, marks the 10th anniversary of the 2003 Cedar Fire in San Diego, which is the largest fire in the history of the state by acreage. And then 4 years after that, we were hit by the Witch Fire, which is the 4th largest fire in the history of the state by acreage. So we've learned our lessons, and San Diego has adapted. We take a proactive approach to prevention. The fire department is currently conducting door-to-door brush inspections of homes in this area to make sure that people are managing brush on their properties. A total of 2,401 parcels will be inspected in the communities of Rancho Penasquitos, where we are today, Carmel Mountain, Black Mountain Ranch, and Torrey Highlands. My office has partnered with the fire department, the Burn Institute, and community leaders to spread awareness and prevention education in our neighborhoods. Last month, over 2,000 letters from the fire department were stuffed and mailed by my team in partnership with our great men and women at the fire department. Now, the Burn Institute guide that you see here is being distributed today and will be available this month in local libraries. It has strategies to make sure that you do everything you can for a wildfire. All signs point to a very dry fire season this year, so we must be vigilant. We cannot control when lightning strikes, but we can prepare our homes with optimum fire-safe measures. Now, I'd like to introduce our partners in this effort, who we will hear from shortly. We've got Mayor Bob Filner here with us today. We've got Director of the Burn Institute and retired Fire Chief Scott Walker, and we also have San Diego Fire Chief Javier Mena. And now I'd like to invite Mayor Filner up here to say a few words. Mayor?
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate your leadership here. If we haven't learned our lessons from 2003 to 2007, we ought to be ashamed of ourselves, and you are taking those lessons and making sure that we have outreach to our citizens. Of course, we want to thank our great firefighters. There are fires raging now. We have people up in Riverside and Ventura County that are sent by our own fire department to help out. And our thoughts and prayers are with them as they deal with these fires. And it shows how prepared that we must be. We have a long way to go. 2003 revealed a lot of problems. 2007 we were proactive, but we had a great amount of damage notwithstanding the preparation. So our guys have to be helped by the community. We have to protect our own homes, our community. We haven't really learned all the lessons yet, by the way. District 5 particularly, and I know Councilman Kersey is working on this with me, is vastly understaffed in terms of its fire protection. The equipment, the staffing is not sufficient really to meet the local needs, whether even without the threat of the wildfires. So our city and our budget has got to be improved to meet these needs, and we are trying to move as fast as we can, but we've got a long way to go. So as we prepare for this fire season with our great fire team, we have to make sure that our budget reflects that, our budget for equipment, for staffing, for their paychecks, because they risk themselves all the time. And we haven't had any real thank you to these brave men and women for 6, 7, 8 years in terms of their real paychecks. So let us prepare today for the wildfires going on, but let us prepare our budget for the future. Thank you, Councilman Kersey, for your leadership in all of this.
And thank you, Mayor, for being here today. I know you've got a lot going on, and it's great that you're able to join us. And now I'd like to introduce Scott Walker from the Byrne Institute to talk about defensible space and tips for implementation. Scott?
Well, good morning and thank you. I'd like to ask all of you to ask yourselves this question: am I prepared for the next wildfire? Because in San Diego, the question is not will we have another fire, but when. The devastating effects of the wildfires of 2003 and 2007 demonstrate the importance of preparation. That's why the Byrne Institute, in collaboration with the San Diego County Fire Chiefs, UCSD's Byrne Center, and SDG&E, created Living with the Wildfire, a guide for the homeowner. Within this guide are helpful hints and hard facts that will allow you to be prepared when the next wildfire strikes. I would like everybody to be familiar with the following terms. First, defensible space. Did you know that creating 100 feet of defensible space around your house gives your home a 90% chance of survival? Next, please learn the 3 R's of defensible space: remove, replace, and reduce. First, remove. Remove dead trees and flammable shrubs. Reduce by thinning and pruning dead branches and leaves. Remove low branches and lift the canopy of trees or shrubs. Low branches, dried grass, act like ladder fuels that carry the fire from one location to another. And replace. By replacing flammable plants with vegetation that is less flammable, you'll really protect your home at this time of need. You also need to be aware that terrain, fuel, and weather all have an effect on the rate and the intensity that a fire will burn. Equally important is to have an evacuation plan. Our Ready, Set, Go plan provides you with a checklist that is both easy to understand and will ensure that you are ready should the need for evacuation occur. If you need more information you need to get a copy of the Wildfire Guide, go to theburneinstitute.org. And please don't forget to register your mobile phone and email address at readysandiego.org. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, but please remember, it's up to you to be prepared for the next wildfire.
Thank you, Scott. Those are some great tips, and I hope everybody takes them to heart. Now I'd like to introduce Chief Maynor, and I'd also like to thank all of the firefighters that are here with us today for everything they do here in the city to keep us all safe. Chief?
Thank you, Council Member. I'd like to begin by thanking both Mayor Filner and Councilmember Kersey and his colleagues on the City Council for their continued support of the Fire Rescue Department. As you can tell by some of the efforts going on in counties north of us, it's always daunting. We don't expect large fires to break out at this time of year, but sometimes the weather patterns create small fires, turn them into large ones, as is happening now. I want to talk a little bit about the inspection program and thank Councilmember Kersey and his office for all of those envelopes that you stuffed and the funding you provided to kind of forewarn the members of the community that we will be out in the community conducting those 2,400 site inspections. There are some 45,000 parcels in the city of San Diego subject to brush management regulation. Now, because of staffing levels, we can only touch each of those parcels about once every 3 years. But we are in Rancho Peñasquitas and Carmel Mountain during this month and next month. We'll be trying to get to every property that has brush management. If we find a resident at home, we will let them know what we are doing. Our code compliance officers will let them know why we're there, have an educational session about what they can do to best prepare their home to withstand a wildfire coming in their direction. If we don't find someone at home, we will leave a door hanger and ask that within 5 days the property owner call us to make an arrangement for us to come out and do an inspection. Oftentimes we can see the property from an adjacent property and not have to interact with the homeowner unless there is a violation. If there is a violation and the homeowner is present, we'll have a conversation about what needs to be done to correct that. If not, a violation notice will be mailed within 3 days of the inspection. Now, we'll let the property owner know what needs to be done to correct it to make their property more safe. and we'll give them 30 days to take those measures. At the end of 30 days, we'll re-inspect. If it has not yet been corrected, we'll come out once again in 2 weeks. If it still has not been corrected, we'll have another inspection date set. But at that point, for the third and subsequent visits, the property owner begins to incur a $300 charge for those inspections. First 2 are free, 1 subsequent to that are not. If we're unable to get compliance by the third inspection, we turn that over to the city attorney's office to force compliance to get that done. So, as has been noted, there are some large wildfires. It's really a partnership to protect communities. Certainly the policymakers have a role in providing funding for all the men and women you see here today, but as well the community plays an important role in ensuring that their properties are defensible. Firefighters often have to make triage decisions, decide which homes they can protect because there simply aren't enough firefighters to protect them all. They will look at what preparations you have made in advance and use their resources to the best benefit that they can. So please do help us. It's safer for us. As Scott pointed out, your house will have a much greater chance of survivability. There are lots of great guides out there that you can find to help you with this. So thank you all again very much. Councilmember Kersey.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to thank the mayor and the chief and Mr. Walker for being with us today. We have some great professionals around here, and it's great to hear their comments. I'd like to remind everyone that next week is statewide Wildfire Awareness Week. We really need to spread the word because we can all make a difference as we have this constant struggle against wildfires here in San Diego. I want to thank the residents who have come together in times of crisis in years past to support each other and who share our resolve to do everything in our power to prevent extreme damage from wildfires. And with that, we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Question for the mayor. Javier mentioned 45,000 parcels because of staffing and budget once every 3 years. You would certainly like to see that improved?
We got to change it. I mean, they are simply understaffed, without. Also, morale suffers when salary increases have not been made. We happen to have a pension system or lack of a pension system, which leads. We just had 6 or 8 guys leave last month to other agencies because we're the only ones around that don't have an adequate pension system. So we've got to do better. Simply got to do better, and we're going to try to take this budget and every succeeding budget to do that. It's just unacceptable. I mean, the northern part of Councilman Kersey's district, which is half the size of San Francisco, has 1 truck for the whole area. It is not worthy of our city to subject our own citizens to this lack of protection.
Which puts, if I may follow up, puts an additional burden on the homeowner to take responsibility.
No question. Thank you, Ed. Everybody has to take responsibility. This is not just government. And the steps that were outlined, everybody's got to do it. We've tried to put some ordinances in place and some fines, but everybody's got to take responsibility. They're doing whatever they can, given the budget constraints, to help the homeowner. But it is all our responsibility for protecting our families and our property. So yes, we have to rely on the homeowner. We have to rely, but we got to do better in terms of public responsibility here.